Oh, my live stream.
Number 2 there, and then number 3. So we'll start off with number 1. Describe the cross-sectional area of a prism. So what I would like you to do now is type in your thoughts about
Oh, I've started a fucking
cross-sectional area.
Shut the fuck up, Lennon.
To someone that didn't know. Press send in about 30 seconds. So start for a title, just write down volume and surface area.
How the fuck do I describe the cross section?
Describe the cross-sectional area of a prism. If you can jot down some notes for that, and then type into the chat that description, and then I'll ask you to press send in a moment.
Guys, what are you putting? I don't know how the fuck to describe it. Oh.
Okay, go ahead and press send now. Let's see what your descriptions are. What are the two face ends of a prism? Okay, the face of the prism that isn't the length. I'm confused about what that is. Okay, so maybe we need to discuss what the cross-sectional area is, or area of cross-section.
Robin, I don't know.
Don't know. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So the way you describe the cross-sectional area to someone, cross-sectional area of a prism, conceptually,
No clue.
The idea of it being the face of at the end of the prism is correct. But really, when you're talking about cross-sectional area, if it wasn't a prism, you'd be talking about the area that you get when you cut through the prism sort of vertically downwards, and the shape, the 2D shape that you create from that sort of cross-section, from that almost action of slicing it. So what that 2D shape would be, that slice of it, if you kind of just looked at the 2D shape of it. Title, volume and surface area of spheres and pyramids.
I don't know what the fuck he said.
So let me just quickly put a prism in here. So let's look at a triangular prism. If we had a triangular prism.
Oh yeah, thank you.
The cross-sectional area, like you were saying, it's the area of the face at the end of the prism. But really what we mean is, we're saying that, let's say I were to cut this prism.
Fuck off.
Down like vertically downwards. What shape would you get? If you did so, well, that would be a triangle. So it's the area of that triangle. It's not necessarily two rectangles though. So for example, this prism is triangular, so it wouldn't be, if you had a cuboid, then it'd be the act of kind of slicing the cuboid down the middle, or vertically downwards, and then the rectangle that you create. Yeah, but this is for example, this is a triangular prism, so you get like a triangle as the cross section, and so the area of that will be the cross sectional area. Okay. Question 2 then. This is interesting, because I doubt you've ever thought about this. So if we're talking about cross sectional area being this idea of like vertically sort of slicing the 3D object, what would the shape be? So before we even consider the area, can you type in what the shape of that sort of cross section, that 2D shape that you would create? Can you type into the chat? But don't press send until I've asked you to do so. If you can type in, what would the shape of that cross section look like if you just kind of slice the sphere down the middle, vertically downwards? What shape would you get?
Yes, please do then, and you fucking pussy hole.
Okay, go ahead and press send now. So what have you put down? Semicircle, circle, half a sphere, circle. Yeah, good. So a lot of you are getting this correct. You got the understanding that if I were to vertically slice the sphere, as you would do for, let's say, a cuboid or a triangular prism or any other type of prism to get that cross-sectional 2D shape, if you did that for a sphere, you'd just get a circle, right? But what's the difference between, say, doing it for a prism versus doing it for a sphere? The difference is that, let's say you do it for a prism. At any point along the length of that prism, at any point that you kind of cut it, that cross-sectional area of the triangle or the rectangle or whatever the 2D shape is, that cross-sectional area of it will always be the same throughout. So it doesn't matter where you actually slice it along the prism, the length of the prism, that triangle is always the same size that you create. The difference with the sphere is that if you tried to do that, if you tried to kind of cut it at different points, sort of vertically slice it at different points along the length of the sphere, which would basically be the diameter, if you try to do that, you get different sized circles, right? So as you're getting closer and closer to the center, your circle's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when you reach the center, that middle slice, where you cut it straight down the middle, that would be the largest circle. And then it would start to get smaller and smaller and smaller again until you reach the edge of the sphere. Yeah? So, yeah, you're completely right. You get circles, and those circles will actually be different. And so, well, they'll be different in area. So, because they'll be different in area, we can't use our regular trick of, let's just find the cross-sectional area of the prism, multiply it by its length, and that gives me the volume. Because if you try to do that with the sphere, well, that cross-sectional area will be changing. It'll be, getting bigger or smaller depending on where you are in the sphere along the diameter of it. Okay. And then,
No.
last question then, question 3. So this one's a bit tricky to sort of explain properly, but I'd like you to give it a try. So why might it be difficult to calculate the surface area, maybe of a sphere? Why would that be quite difficult and definitely more difficult than, say, a cuboid or a cylinder, right? Because, for example, a cuboid, we know how to work out the surface.
Brajan, I seen your picture.
So why would it be slightly more difficult to do that for, say, a sphere? So can you type
Do I click on that? Yes.
Let everyone have a chance to
Then what?
Special agents.
Yes.
And send me a picture of what it says. It shows. Quickly, let's get London from that.
And then there's obviously this other stuff.
But it keeps. Wait, is that it? Is there no more on the very
No,
right?
there's 2 more. There's Club Selection, FC Bayern Munich, and POTW.
The way you kind of have to think about it is how did we actually calculate the surface area for all of these other shapes?
Claim them all.
No.
They're just not there for you then. What if they ran out? Is there that's a specific amount of time?
Okay, go ahead and press
Sorry.
send now. Let's see. Edges. Please calculate surface area because you only have a
Take the
face
piss.
on the sphere. Yeah, I like that. There's only one face. Yeah, good. Yeah, you're right. There is only one face. And also, it's not just that there's only one face. Like Simon said, you can't really unwrap it into a 2D shape, right? When we looked at the cylinder, we thought about that curved circle, that curved face, the one that kind of goes wraps around the cylinder. You can kind of unravel it a little bit into a rectangle. And because you can unravel it into a rectangle, and we know the area of a rectangle, we could then use that to help us work out what that area would be of that face. But with a sphere, you're right. There's only one face, and that face you can't really unravel into anything. If you tried to do that, it wouldn't really make anything that you would know how to calculate the area of. So because of that, we have to have a different way of calculating the surface area. So that's why what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at why, for example, the volume and the surface, well, we've just talked about why the volume and the surface area of a sphere is a bit more difficult to calculate. So the same thing's going to happen when we look at pyramids and cones. And so because of that, we need special formulae. And so those special formulae will, I'll sort of let you know what they are, and then talk about how to actually use them as well. Okay, but that's why I've kind of left this for one lesson, kind of combining all of these things together, because all of the formulae that you'll learn today are not ones that you'll just be able to, you'll be able to work out on the spot, because like we just talked about, there's no there's no easy way of getting around it rather than just learning or having the formula written down. Okay, so talking about these formulae then, I just wanted to firstly remind you of what those formulae for cylinder was. So that's what we looked at on Thursday. Sorry, it was Tuesday last week, but you did work on it on Thursday. So if you remember, what was the volume? What was the formula for the volume of the cylinder? Maybe you can type it into the chat, and then I'll ask you to press send in a moment.
What did he ask?
The volume of a cylinder. What was the formula for it?
Oh shit. Volume of a cylinder. Mhm. Pi r squared times length.
Press send now. What was the formula for the squared h? Yeah, good. Pi r squared times the length. Yeah, brilliant. Good. Guys, if I ask you for a formula, like for example this one, it'd be good if you can actually put in an answer, because it's not like we've really done. I'm really asking you anything that is too difficult. It's something that if you're not sure, you can always just look back in your book, yeah? But it's good for me to know that you can actually remember those formulae, and the easiest way to do that is actually ask you, okay? But yeah, brilliant. Those people that did put an answer in, volume of a cylinder is going to be pi r squared multiplied by that height. Yeah, and that's because, well, this is basically a prism. The cylinder is a prism, but with the cross-sectional area as a circle. Okay, what was the surface area formula? Now this one I'm not going to ask you to put in. Work out if you didn't have it to hand. Now, as you'll see in the see here, it says the star indicates that these won't be in your formula booklet, and that's why I actually encouraged you to figure out what the reasoning for it was, rather than just give you the formula. Because if you forget the formula and you don't remember it in an exam, it's important to have that background understanding to basically work out what the formula is. Okay, so it was 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r times the height, and that was because there was two lots of the circular faces, so the top face and the bottom face. So that's where the 2 pi r squared comes from. And then also that 2 pi r h, well, that comes from the rectangle that wraps around the cylinder. It has a height of h, or one of the lengths being h, and then the other length, let's say the length is the height, and then the width would then be 2 pi r, which is just the circumference of that circle. Yeah? Okay, so then in terms of the other formulae, we'll start off with the sphere, because we've just talked about
how do I create an avatar?
Sphere at the start, when we said that we could work.
How do I create an avatar?
The cross-sectional area changes throughout the shape, basically. And so we need a formula for it. Well, this is the formula. It's 4 over 3 pi r cubed. Now, I would encourage you to get this written down. It will be in your formula booklet, but it's important to just have it to hand easily, so that then you're doing questions. I mean, you're going to eventually just learn it, because it's not that. The more and more times you practice it, and the more and more times you write it down, you'll just learn the formula. And I think it's better to just learn it rather than, if possible, rather than having to go and look back in the formula booklet for it. Okay, so the volume is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. The surface area is 4 pi r squared. 4 pi r squared. And it's really, these two formulas are quite interesting, because when you get to A level, some of you who will be doing A level, when you look at something called differentiation and integration, you'll really realise how these two formula are actually really tight. Linked together. You can go get onto the other, and the other one to the previous one, using this idea of differentiation and integration. But like I said, that's a concept that you'll okay? I just wanted to kind of let you know about that. Okay, so that's the sphere. I'm going to look at the pyramid next before the cone. There's a reason for that, and it's kind of linked to this tip at the bottom. It says
Oh, so where do I go?
a prism, but with a circular base,
Edit.
circular cross section. That's kind of the same idea of pyramids and cones. A pyramid just means that it's something that has some sort of base and then some sort of vertical height, and that could be comprised. That could be created in a whole bunch of different ways. But the idea is that base area might change, or that base shape might change. So
Then where do I go?
you've got a square thing. As you'll know, there's things that are triangular base pyramids, and similarly for a cone is basically just a circular base pyramid. So that's why the formulas actually connect, they're linked. So that's why I'm going to show you the pyramid one first, which is more general, and then we'll talk about the specifics of the cone. For the pyramid, if we've got a square base or a rectangular base, you would then just work out what that base area was and put it into the formula. If you had a triangular base, you'd work out what the triangle's base area is and then put that into the formula. Okay, so you've got a third multiplied by that base area multiplied by the height. And when we say height here, maybe it's worth writing down or making a note that this is the perpendicular area. Perpendicular height. Not perpendicular area, that doesn't make sense. Perpendicular height. Yeah, so this is this h here, which is actually the perpendicular height. We're saying it's perpendicular because
His forehead's massive.
with the base. That's why it's perpendicular. It's perpendicular to the base. Okay, and that's another one that's not going to be given.
Yeah, I know, but I want to actually make one.
You just have to learn it. Okay. So how does this connect to the cone? Well, if the base area for a cone is the area of that circle at the bottom, what do you think the formula for the volume of a cone is going to be? Can you type that into the chat, and then I'll ask you to press send in a moment. The volume of the cone, what would the formula for that be?
What? Oh, he gives a shit.
Okay, go ahead and press send now. What did you put down as the volume for the cone? I times R times L times the height. Okay. R squared times the height. That is the slant height.
Half times pi times radius times length. Why don't people just search it up?
Remember that, like I just said, the
Oh, you just wait.
cone is just a type of pyramid, right? It's a special type of pyramid where the base is a circle, and the area of the circle we know is pi r squared, right? So looking at the volume for the pyramid, it's a third multiplied by the base area multiplied by the perpendicular height. Yeah, it's a good one on Lewis. So it's going to be a third multiplied by pi r squared, because that's the base area, multiplied by the perpendicular height. And the perpendicular height, it's not L. L is considered the slant height, or it's called the slant height. The perpendicular height is h. Okay? So in this case, it's going to be a third pi r squared h, where there's those hidden multiplications, as we know. Okay. And so that matches up.
Josh, you sure yours isn't as beautiful as mine?
As well. They're connected. Okay. And then lastly,
Look at mine.
just note that I'm saying the area of the curved surface, not the surface area. Okay, so you'll need to
Mine looks fucking high.
that distinction there, not make the mistake. Yeah, we're not talking about the total surface area of the cone, because that would include the circle at the bottom as well. just curved surface, which is almost like a bit like the cylinder where it's kind of going wrapping around the shape. So that curved surface, the area is pi times r times the slant height. So that's L, the slant height now. Okay. So if we wanted the surface area, the total surface area of a cone, we've got the area of the curved surface, and I just said
It is so fucking massive.
the area of the circle at the bottom. So then the total surface.
How do I confirm it?
I'll just write it down for you as well here. So for the surface area. Well, that's going to be this area of this curved surface, which wraps around the cone. So pi r L, that's the slant height, plus the area of this face, which is the bottom of the cone, which would be pi r squared. Yeah, so the total surface.
Why is writing so small?
The faces of it. We're going to take this curved surface and add the area to the area of the circle at the bottom. Right, that's all you'll need to remember and be able to use. And now we'll talk about how to use them. So, starting off with a sphere. So I'll do one example and then it'll be your turn to have a go.
Oh, I didn't write that.
On the left, we have a radius of 2 centimeters for the sphere, and I just said that the volume of a sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. So I know the radius is 2, so let's put that in, and it's 2 cubed there. 2 cubed we know as 8. So it's 4 over 3 pi multiplied by 8. At 4 multiplied by 8 is 32.
Should I do POTW?
32 lots of pi
Brown.
divided by 3. Just done 4
Brown, should I just keep doing POTW? Wait, what were you doing?
pi as well.
What were you doing?
Pi,
Okay.
and that's divided.
Alright.
And then you
Yeah, it's shit.
later, if you put it into a calculator, and we want to give answers as 3 significant figures, you're going to get 33
I got 89
pi
centre midfielder.
cubed. To get the units correct in there, this is the volume.
Yeah.
Well, that's 3 significant figures. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to move this over slightly so I can put the surface area in as well.
And his bum pushed in.
So we'll do the surface area as well for this sphere. So surface area. Well, the surface area formula we said is 4 pi r squared.
Wait, what's team spirit?
Meters. So 4 pi multiplied by 2 squared. 4 pi multiplied by 4. And then 4 pi multiplied by 4, that's 16 lots of pi. And then again, if you put that into the calculator, you're going to get that thing around 3 centimeters as we did volume. You're going to get 50.3 centimeters squared.
That's racist.
You know that because we're talking about an area now. That's the 3 significant figures. Okay? Right. I'm going to ask you to do this now. So firstly, can you calculate the volume of this sphere here? Okay? There is a trick in this question that you've got to watch out for. Particular this length here, 6 centimeters, about what that represents. Okay, 2 minutes, and I want you to type that in the chat. At the end of the timer, then you can submit your answer for the volume of the sphere. And why don't you just recently. Figures on I've done. So,
How did you work this out? Wait, what calculation do you have to do? Times. Oh, pi. I agree, 36 pi. I've played a couple ranked matches and not got any. Why is Hennisser in our class? Oh no, it's Harvey. That's Harvey, never mind. I thought Hennisser was in our class, but it was actually Harvey.
okay, so coming up to the end of the timer, so get your answers typed into the chat box, and then I'll ask you to submit those answers when the timer ends. Okay, go ahead and submit your answers now. The volume on the sphere. 13, 114, yeah, good.
This guy's Messi, Willian, Hector Bellerin, Fernandez. No, it's the 100 rated Messi. Oh.
Well, maybe get started with this next one. Ready? So we've got the surface area of the sphere.
How do you make him 100? I've got Mbappe, Parejo, and Neuer on. Wait, so did we just put 36 per year? What, both volume and surface area? Yeah. Lennon sexy. Do you know what my club name is? Claire's Musty Minge. Claire's Musty Minge. Yeah. Claire's Musty Minge. Claire's Musty Minge. She's got a musty car. Saint Etienne has. Oh no. Wait, so we got this for double, yeah? Like just the team score, no work and nothing to do on our computer box. Everyone put 113. Lennon. Yeah. Yeah. This guy's best sweating. No, no, the guy I'm going against. Come on, Manuel Neuer. Mbappe, bro, how are you losing that? Loan. Salah. Having a bank. Yeah. What? Neuer! Neuer! Neuer's so good! Fab's got some gas. Fisk. How to Athni, my brother, he's got a pumpy. How to my guy, he's got a pumpy.
decimal answer. So have a go there, please. This one first, you're going to calculate the value of R if the volume of the sphere is
Bruno Fernandes.
follow the same steps as we just done. You've got 3 minutes, and I want to get your answers calculated into the chat. Yeah.
Smoke ganja. I just got a red for tapping him. No. Yeah, I think he was. Oh, it was fuck Messi. I'm side tackling him. Yeah. Oh, I just saved the pen. I saved it. Messi. Neuer! Neuer! Fuck's sake! Oh, I'm actually losing. This is like a poor FIFA. This is a poor player's FIFA. Through on goal. Nice. But yeah, I'm bare trash sides. What? Oh my fucking god. Yeah, I do that. Mbappe's underperforming right now. Fucking hell, Mbappe. 91. Oh my fucking god. I'm losing 3-0. Bro, I can't, man. I can't get it. What of the call? Oh God. No, you just scored an own goal. No, you just fucking booted it in my own goal. No, you fucking downy. I mean, it's 4-0. Fucking come here, little cunt. Come here, you little shit. What? Yeah. I don't. 300 probably. It's 180. Tree sucks, 4. Oh yeah. Bro, I'm getting beat 4-0. No, I didn't. Chat shit, man. That's a 180. No. Yeah. Exactly. No. 180. Reflex is 180. Angles on a straight line add to 180. Angles under 89. I can't fucking remember. Boom it, Neuer. Couldn't score one fucking